Hi, Tim from Green Attic Insulation. We're here today in Hinsdale, Illinois doing a remodel. The guys are working upstairs in the attic and we've already shown how that's done, but what do we do with new construction or a remodel? So we're going to take out all the existing insulation and we've got to figure out how we're going to insulate the ceiling and how we're going to insulate the walls. This is going to be framed out for sliding doors for the patio, so there won't be insulation here. And these headers were put in case they want to put windows later, but for now we will put insulation here. We only have 3.5 inches of studs to work with and only 5.5 on the ceiling, so with limited capacity we need to get the most insulation possible in this space. Okay, so in this space we're remodeling this home in Hinsdale and we're going to need to choose which insulation will give us the best bang for buck and also comfort and efficiency. Right now we're not running the air conditioning and it's 82 degrees out in Hinsdale. So the max temperatures on the roof right now are about 117 and the walls about 84 to 85. So our goal is to keep this room around 72 year round. So in the summer, there's only a 10 to 15 degree difference. In the winter, there could be a 60 to 80 degree difference. It could get to -20 out in Chicago, and you're trying to heat it to 72. So insulations matter in Chicago climate, both for summer and winter, cold and hot climate. So something to take into consideration. So let's look at a couple of choices, and we'll determine which one we're going to end up putting in the sidewalls and roof. Okay, so the first one I'll talk about is probably the most common and exciting one that we get the most requests for, and that's going to be closed cell spray foam. What's different about this is foam is used for a number of other rigid foam boards, polyiso rigid foam board, but this is a two-part expanding foam chemical mixture that cures and hardens, and what you get left with is a complete moisture, pressure, and thermal barrier. No other insulation can boast that, in the sense that it has the highest R value per inch, and at around 1 to 2 inches you get a moisture barrier as well. Not with open cell, but only closed cell spray foam. And how you can tell is it's very hard on the surface, whereas open cell you could still probably peel back the layers. So the density of closed cell foam makes it an ideal choice for stud cavities that are limited in space, like cathedral ceilings. In this case, we only have 5 inches to work with, and we can still get R38. This is the #1 choice. We're going to go with that on the ceiling. But what about the walls? On the walls, we have an option of loose fill, rigid foam board. You can put in an insulation bat. You can have a paper face or no paper face, so there's a lot of choices there also. So the other choice from foam would be a fiberglass or cellulose or mineral wool. And all of these basically depend on cost at this point. Each one of them has their benefits. Everyone knows that the stereotype for fiberglass is it's extremely itchy, so you don't want to make contact with it or absorb it into your skin, whereas the mineral wool, that's not a problem. You can make full contact with the skin, not a problem. It's a plant-based material. So this is an ideal choice. Also, fiberglass performs terribly loose fill in heat, so as the heat goes up, the R value goes down on loose fill, but a solid dense packed cellulose wall, R21 for these sidewalls, would be ideal. And that can be done either with the drywall in place, and we'll drill a hole to existing homes, or when it's all been removed like this for remodeling, we simply staple up netting, put in the hose, dense pack the wall to capacity. So another choice would be mineral wool, and this is also a great option for density, sound. It can be installed in a variety of ways, like we see here with the radiant barrier. Also, it can be in bat form. It can be installed on the outside, so it has some sort of exterior cladding. It can be used in between framing. It can be loose fill or bat. It's also non-irritant, so this is a great insulation to work with and touch. But the main thing is this is the highest rated insulation for sound absorption, because the foam would create density, whereas this will absorb the sound waves. You want something that will absorb the sound, not a hard surface that would reflect it back off like spray foam. So for sound, for energy, for water resistance, and using a natural material that's most importantly fireproof, mineral wool is a great choice. It does cost, however, about $2 to $3 more per square foot than cellulose to install in the walls. Okay, so we have a method for insulating the walls. In this case, it's going to be netting and loose fill cellulose. All we're going to do is air seal all of the seams completely, top to bottom, and after that's done, we're going to staple netting up, and after the netting is in place, we'll poke a hole and dense pack cellulose and fill that to capacity. Okay, so we talked about the walls, and on the ceiling, we're limited to just 5.5 inches. So how much insulation can we get between that space? So let's grab a ladder, take a look. The most common method that you'll see is fiberglass between the studs. All the older homes have it. All that is a fiberglass bat with a paper barrier, craft paper. You can see some example of it here from before. So we're getting rid of that old stuff, and we have a couple of options. So based on the furring, we're looking at 6 inches here. And one way of doing that would be foam, where we're going to put the foam up against the rafters, give us 2 inches of foam, and supplement the rest of that with a fiberglass so that we save money on the inches of R value. So fiberglass supplementation in between. And our other option is going to be cellulose and netting. So in this case, we're going to staple netting right up against the joist here and dense pack to capacity, and this will give us the highest R value, biggest bang for buck. This is Tim from Green Attic. I hope you enjoyed the review of this remodel, asking questions, what is the best way to insulate our exterior walls and our cathedral ceiling? Is this a vented attic or a hot attic, conditioned now? So we looked at the different types of insulation. We want to remember 1, a moisture barrier, 2, a pressure barrier for air, and 3, a thermal barrier, R value, resistance to heat escape. So if the house was perfectly cooled or heated and it was airtight and insulated, it would stay that way year round.